Well, everybody, I'm at my super secret location. Not really. You may have seen Dick Algar's video a little while ago, and he said, he goes, "Oh, Bix is going to hang out with Jsnip on a treasure hunt." We were going to try to keep Bix coming a secret and surprise you guys. I was going to say, um, you know, basically, what I was going to say, all right, I'll sit somewhere in this house and I'll do a video, regular video like I always do, upload it, and then have maybe just a slightly different angle, and then have Bix do a video on his channel, not say anything, just doing his thing, and see if anybody picks up on it, as a joke. But yeah, I don't know if I'd call this like a quote unquote treasure hunt on this particular episode, but my buddy, I actually got a couple, but they know of like some ancient petroglyph type sites, rocks, pictographs, things like that. And when I went on my little trip last time, I was here for like 2 days, but I talked with him and he told me about some of the stuff. He showed me on his phone some of these pictures. I'm like, oh my gosh, where can we see that? And he's like, oh, it's too far from here. We don't have time. Blah blah blah. So I'm like, all right, when I come back, I want to check that out. So I talked to my two go-to guys, which if you remember when I went to ESETI in Washington State, I think that was in May of last year, 2018. It was with my buddy Jean Claude and Dave, and Jean Claude's wife and my wife. And I just knew I had to bring Dave. Just like this knowing. And long story short, Dave's been on a crazy like spiritual journey that's of epic proportions. But we knew, all right, we got to bring Dave on this, me and Jean Claude. So then I was actually thinking, after we'd already locked it in, like, oh yeah, because they love that kind of stuff, the petroglyphs and things. And I'm like, oh, my guys, my buddy knows a site that this stuff can be seen. It's out in the wilderness. We're gonna have to take the Polaris out there. Like, it's gonna be a journey. But I'm like, going down trails, seeing stuff like, yeah, sign me up. So I told them, they're like, oh my God, let's go do this. So I said, all right. So we locked this down. And I was thinking at one point, I was like, I wonder if I should ask Bix. He liked the Grand Canyon thing. He went down over there. And I'm like, he might enjoy something like this. Who knows what we'll find out there, And so I didn't pursue it. I had the thought. I'm like, should I ask? I kind of want to. And I just left the thought alone. So like a couple days later, Jean Claude's like, hey, he's like, Joe, I don't, it's not my place to like invite somebody else or anything. It's your thing, but I want to just tell you something. And I said, yeah, go ahead. He's like, I've had this like vision, this kind of a dream or vision 3 times now in a row, and I see us like in this kind of like desert climate, if you will, rocky, stuff, and I hear and see all of us, and I hear Bix. Bix is with us, and I hear his laugh, and it's got like this weird like sound to it. Whatever. He's like, but it's Bix, and he says I kind of ignored it the first time. Second time it happened a third time. He said, so I called Dave and just asked Dave, can you kind of hone in on this yourself? What's your feelings on this? And so the next day, Dave's like, man, I feel like he needs to come with us. Actually, like he needs to be a part of this. I don't know why. Jean Claude's like, that's what I was feeling. He's like, all right. He's like, let me call Joe and ask, if we can invite Bix, And so he starts talking to me. I'm like, stop. I'm like, look, I already had this thought a few days ago. I was like, I just didn't pull the trigger. I didn't pursue it. It was there, and I was like, oh, maybe. And I was like, oh, maybe not. I don't know. So I just left it alone. And then he said that. I'm like, okay. As soon as we hang up, I'm calling him. I text him, hey, you got a second? He's like, yeah, absolutely, man. What's going on? So I'm like, we're going on this little like trip, and we're going to stay for a little, quite a bit longer than Bix is. And I told him what we're going to be doing and stuff. He's like, oh my gosh, yes, that'd be so cool. And so Dick let the cat out of the bag. Unfortunately, we're going to try to trick you guys and surprise you with a couple separate videos, like in the same room, slightly different angle. But you've noticed I haven't done too many videos lately. Obviously, this house that it's an Airbnb. Me and my buddies got here. It's kind of in the middle of tiny town thing. They do have high, quote unquote high speed, which is like low speed, but one of us downloads something, and the rest of our phones don't work. Hey, what's going on? So it's hard as hell to do a video of any length and then upload it. Not to mention, from the time we wake up and go do something, like these places are far to travel to scope out stuff. So we're trying to find few areas, and like, okay, when Bix comes, this was the best one, or that, let's take him over there and like really do some exploring and stuff like that. So I do have some footage. I'll share a little bit of footage with all you guys. You know, just some beautiful pictures and some video footage and stuff like that. Really, really beautiful place. And get this. Last night, we're in another small town, a little bigger than the one we're in. And there's a Walmart. There's like the only Walmart around. So we go and get a few little supplies and stuff, some food. And we're like, well, let's go eat dinner after this. And I'm looking at the menu. And I know this one place down the street. I'm like, okay, it's like, you know, American food. My friend Jean-Claude here, he's a real health kind of guy. He wants his, you know, vegetarian, vegan type foods, you know, omelets with veggies and stuff. You know, in these small towns, it's a little hard sometimes to get stuff. So you know, we've had all the Mexican food we can handle. And I'm like, part of me is like, oh, well, that place is right there. They got a few different selections. But I'm like, you know, something's telling me like Jean-Claude needs some health. Like he needs some health in him. So I scroll down a little further, map. Oh, what's this little place? Oh, I look at the pictures. I'm like, hey, they got some healthy looking food here. So I'm like, hey, Jean-Claude. He's like, oh, yeah, that looks great. Let's go. This little tiny restaurant, you know, maybe 8 or 10 tables max. And whatever, we pull in. It's me, Jean-Claude, and my buddy Dave. And so we walk in, and all the tables got people sitting on them. But we're like, we're not going anywhere else. We'll just wait for a table to open up. And a couple ladies were right in front of us. They walked in first, so they got the last table, I think. Which, you know, whatever. So we're sitting there, and we're just like, well, we'll just kind of wait. And there's a guy, an older guy, who's, you know, 10 feet away. And I guess he was kind of like looking over at us a few times. I guess me specifically, but Jean-Claude was so close to me, he was like kind of eyed the guy, seeing like, you know, when someone's staring at you. And he didn't know if he was like looking at him. So he's just like, you know, whatever, no big deal. So then the guy's like, hey guys, you know, I've got 3 seats here. You know, you're more than welcome to sit with me. I'm like, oh, that's nice of this guy, you know, the stranger. And there's 3 of us, so perfect. So we go, oh, thank you, sir. You know, sit down. And as I start to walk over to him, he looks at me and goes, Jsnip, Jsnip. You're Jsnip. I'm like, oh my God, you know what that means? He must be a subscriber. You know, you can call me Jsnip. And I'm like, oh my God, yes. He's like, I watch your videos. You know, I watch SGT and I watch Dave X22. He's like, you guys are my go-to guys. And And I said, you ever watch Big Square? He goes, yeah, I do watch him sometimes. I said, we're going to be seeing him in a few days. You know, it's a little secret right now. But actually, it's not a secret anymore. So we're all sitting there like, and he goes, you know something funny? I almost didn't come here tonight. He's like, I had food at home. I was like, oh, I could reheat that thing. And he's a single guy, guys. You know, he's an older guy, but he's a single guy. So it's not, doesn't have a family or anything. He does what he wants. Retired. And he's like, yeah, I almost didn't come. He's like, I don't need to go out and eat, you know. He's like, but someone's just telling me maybe I should. And then you come walking in the door. He's like, you don't know how odd this would be? Like, you know, to me, you're like, you know, a celebrity or something. Like, what people, I'm like, I'm not a damn celebrity. He's like, well, you know what I mean. You know, I'm like, yeah, whatever. You know, we're all normal. It's all good. He's like, but yeah, you know, I watch anybody I watch on YouTube to walk through the front door of this place in this tiny little town. I'm like, yeah, you got a good point. You know, I would expect that in a bigger town, I might be seen somewhere by somebody. Who knows? And this guy's sitting there. Now, my mom, before I left, she was telling me, I see you meeting somebody. Like somebody else. Not that, you know, you're going to meet somebody. Really? She's like, yeah, I see a guy. And I'm just thinking how that might happen. Okay. So the day, or it was earlier that day, we were out in the Polaris in this little like trail road. You know, there were other people do the same thing, you know, some country like off trail roads with their side-by-sides. We had ours. So these 2 guys stopped and chat with us for a minute. And then that was it. So I thought then, I'm like, oh, was that what my mom was talking about? Well, there's 2 guys, not one. I wasn't even going to tell Jean-Claude and Dave about it. Like, oh, my mom said, you know, no, this doesn't count. So I didn't even say nothing. It just dawned on me for a second. And then the guy at the dinner table. Oh my God, my mom. Okay, this is it. I said, guys, I got to tell you a little story. You know, mama said, and it was just great. So the guy's name was Ron, right? Ron, yeah. Ron, R-O-N, and real nice guy. Retired police, multiple places he's worked, different cities and states, and. Totally red pill. Yeah, for his age, you know, typically the older people, you know, it's like they've been programmed all these years with the news that it's hard for them to, you know, get red pilled. This guy was red pilled. It was a pleasure talking with him. Oh, it was fantastic. We were telling him like other little things. Are you into that? He's like, oh no, that's too weak of a red pill. Like, no, I'm into this stuff, you know. We're like, okay, that's cool. That's cool, you know. You were talking about the Catherine Austin Fitts, the 21 trillion and all this, and blockchain, you know, it could fix that. And I was like, oh, it was so cool talking with this guy. So he goes, all right, on your next video, whatever you do, I'll go comment. So I'm thinking, what a great next video I'll do. This will be the one he can comment on to say, yeah, I was there, I met him. So that's funny. So anyways, part of this video is I know I haven't done many. You don't expect to see many for many, many more days right now because we just got so much to do. And now as we're out here, we're like, oh my God, I think I want to stay a few more days. This is so beautiful. This is so awesome. There's nothing like this in Florida. I mean, I'm out in the country. We're driving down this dirt road with the trailer in tow, with my thing to get to a spot to offload it and go. And those were antelopes, right? Yeah. Freaking antelopes. Yeah, in America. Antelopes running by us. There was like a flock, well, not a flock, that would be like birds. A herd of them, I guess, yeah. A flock of seagull. And they're like looking over and doing their little bouncy run, and they're like racing us. And they're like, yeah. And we're like, oh my God, that's so cool. And then, we're only doing about 30 or so mile an hour. And then all of a sudden, they kind of cut and start. Actually, we were in the Polaris. Yeah. We were already in the Polaris. We weren't trailering it. We were already in it. We'd already let it offload it and went. And we're like, oh, cool, check that out. We're all trying to grab our phones quickly. Thinking they're gonna run off. They're like looking at us, chasing, like running. Like, oh my God, that's so cool. And then we see them cutting, and like coming like to meet us, like we're gonna hit each other, like they outpaced us. We weren't going fast anyway, and then they just right in front of us. I mean, you could have threw a little pebble right and nailed one of them. I'm like they were like, oh, we beat you and we're gonna cut across. See ya. It was amazing, and we're like, oh my God, this is so cool. So this is just awesome. And we went to one little petroglyph site that day where they would hit something in these rocks, like with little dots, like bing, 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 and there's just like these little artwork. So we don't know how old it is or anything. And as badly as I want to probably take something, you can't take that kind of stuff, man. You gotta leave that there. And so we took pictures, some video, and the weather is just great. 50s, and it's actually gotten in the low 60s, I think. Oh, it's beautiful. So anyways, I want to give you all a little update, just let you know I'm still alive. I'm around. I'm not Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I'm still with you. No faking going on. It's me talking right now. Yeah, and I've heard about her. What was the thing? CNN.
No, it was Fox and Friends.
Fox and Friends accidentally says, "Oh, Ruth Bader Ginsburg from 2019." Oh, you mean she's no longer with us? Oh, accident.
It's a graphic error.
Graphical error, yeah. Kind of like Building 7 has fallen. Breaking news. No, it's still standing behind you, lady. Oh, cut the feed. So anyways, enjoying life. We'll be back to normal, a week or so, whatever it is, as far as video updates. My Litecoin trade, some of the traders. Oh, guys, I think we're about to go down big time. And my guy just, hey, hold tight. The data is what the data is. Hold tight. And I will listen to him. And that's what we're doing. So my trade hasn't changed. I'm just waiting it out. And that's it. So talk to you guys later. Take care.